Conditional formats are another one of those neat features in Excel that once you figure out how to use, you wonder why you hadn't discovered it earlier. Basically, a conditional format is a format that you set on a cell, but it depends on the cell contents. In other words, the cell with a certain value might not have any format at all, and when that value changes past a certain point, it might turn red, or it might change the font, or change the font color, or do something of the sort. For example, right here, I have my sales volume table by region. And let's say that I wanted to set a conditional format here so that the cells that have more than 10,000 in them are going to turn a certain color. So that way I can see if some store at some code is outperforming the others. So what I do is this. You select your cells, you go to the Home tab, and in the Home tab, you look for this button here which says Conditional Formatting. That opens the Conditional Formatting menu. Now, there's several styles for conditional formatting that are predefined in Excel and that you just select here, and Excel does them for you. For example, let's try selecting greater than. And it says format cells that are greater than. It automatically selected 75.99, but I'm going to try 10,000. You see? And when I type 10,000, Excel automatically shows me which cells are going to meet that condition. And it says with light red fill and dark red text. Or I kind of like yellow fill. We can change this format later. It's no problem. And we can change the condition later. We're going to see how. So I'm going to press OK. That's a really quick way to define a conditional format in a cell. Now what happens if this cell value drops to 9,000, which is less than 10,000? Watch this. Now the format goes away. And as soon as it goes back to the old value, the format comes back. That's how conditional formatting works. Simply there's a condition, and as soon as the cell meets that condition, it turns the format that you want. Now as I said, you can edit the format that you gave your cells. You can use those shortcuts I just showed you. Right here, highlight cells rules, and then later you can edit the rule to change the format or the rule. You do that here where it says Manage Rules. Remember to select all the cells that you want to change the rules for, or else this is only going to change a part of your cells. So here we have the rule that we applied. When cell value is greater than 10,000, you get this format. And right here, we can see what range we're applying that format to. So for example, I can change this range, add one more row, and now all these cells are also going to have that conditional format applied. Now I'm going to go back to Manage Rules right here, and I'm going to remove the format from that particular row because I don't really want it there. Okay, now if I want to change the format, I just click on the rule, Edit Rule, and with that I can change the color, the fill, the border. I mean, if you see here, every single thing that there is in Excel that you can assign to a cell, you can assign right here in a conditional format. So this is really flexible. In fact, you can set your number format for a cell through a conditional format. So for example, you could tell a cell if your value is greater than 10,000, you should have no decimal digits. Or if your value is less than 1, you should switch automatically to a percentage format. Things like that. But for now, let's take care of the font format. Normally, when I want to alert someone of a value, I like to use yellow and black. I find that combination works really good. So there we go. And now the cells get marked, just like that. Now, what's another use for a conditional format? Well, you can use it to show people what cells are outperforming or something like that. Or you can also use it to warn the user of a problem in your worksheet. For example, here we have the little cross check that we did before, where we took the row values and we subtracted the column values and made sure that was equal to 0. That's how we know that our sums are working right. But, for example, if I wanted, I could assign a conditional formatting here. New rule. This is another way, by the way, to add conditional format. Just do what I did right there. Step into the rules manager and type in new rule. And right here, I get the entire range of things that I can use to conditionally format based on their values, cells that contain only top or bottom values, values that are above or below average. All these conditions you can use. Normally, you use this one that says format only cells that contain. And right here, you select what you're going to evaluate. In this case, I want the cell value to evaluate. In other words, take the cell contents, the number that's inside, and it says between, I'm going to switch that to not equal to. See, like that, not equal to, and I'm going to set it to 0. So if the cell value is not equal to 0, I'll have it change format to red with yellow text. I find that works really well for error messages. And here we go. And right now I have no format here because the difference is obviously 0, so everything is fine. I'm going to eliminate these formats, by the way. If you want to eliminate conditional formatting in cells, what you do is go to the drop-down, Clear Rules, and you say Clear Rules from Selected Sheet, like that. And your conditional formatting is gone. Okay, now what happens if we had the error that we had before with the sum where the range was wrong? And so these things weren't adding up. As you can see, we now have a difference here which is not equal to 0, and the cell turned red. So immediately, Excel would be telling the user there's a problem here that you need to check. So that's more or less how you use conditional formattings in Excel. Now, one suggestion I can give you, don't overdo it with conditional formatting. Remember that these color indicators, where your cells turn a different color, are really useful if you use them sparingly so that they call attention to themselves to really important things in the worksheet. Like for example here, where I have an error and this column doesn't add up with this row, that's really important. That's pretty critical. So you get a red indicator. But if you start to put conditional formattings all over the place and your sheets start to fill up with red and yellow and green and all sorts of colors, people are going to eventually start ignoring those colors. They're going to get tired of seeing those splotches of colors everywhere, and they're simply going to ignore them. So use conditional formatting sparingly, only in the cases where it's really worth it. Thanks for watching this video tutorial. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and to visit our website, cubicleoverlords.com, for more instructional videos like this one.